pound it out each night, each night, each morning.
I don't want. No,
We
we
pound
do
it out
not
each
pound
night.
it out each
We
night. I
don't
want
pound it
that
out.
clear.
Yeah, that's kind of a misnomer, but we pound it out each time. At the end of the episode with a Rochambeau, boom, 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 or boom, 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 or boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
No,
And
paper.
I won
rock,
yesterday. It's 1-0.
paper,
1-0. I won yesterday. It's 1-0. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's 1-0. There we go. So I am a loser. I have the L, and that means loser. Actually, no, the L means Lonnie, and that means Brian. And I am Longview Lonnie, and that's Belso Brian.
Yeah, well, you're actually Lonnie of Longview, LOL.
I am Lonnie of Longview, and actually, yes, and we happen to have little videos here and there that are Lonnie Life on Longview or Life of Lonnie. Lonnie's online logic. There we go. I thought of this whole thing and my brain's gone. So
that's okay.
Lonnie's not online logic. Lonnie's unlogical thinking. I can tell you that much right now. My brain's a little foggy today. Yeah. So.
Well, overall, you seem chipper. I'm a little down today. I'll be honest.
Well, how far down are you, Brian?
Well, you could ask, why am I down?
Why are you down, Brian?
Well, it's tough. My imaginary friend dumped me.
Oh, how come?
Well, it turns out he wants other people to see him. There you go. That was a tough joke there.
That's good though. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, you get it.
Kind of funny. Yeah.
He doesn't want to see other people because other people see him. So that brings a question. Did you have an imaginary friend growing up?
No, I don't think I did. I it's funny because I live in a neighborhood where I had so many kids. It was so cool. That's why I went back to that neighborhood when I was older to raise my kids, thinking that they'd have all these friends as well. And come to find out, all my friends have moved. I'm kidding. That was true, they had, but there was no more kids in the neighborhood. It was so weird. It was like this neighborhood I grew up at, where every kid was playing a baseball game or playing a baseball or football or whatever it was. There was so many kids involved in the area. And this year, when I grew back with my kids, I brought back, there was nothing. There was probably 3 kids, and they weren't in the same ages as my sons were and a daughter. Wow. Yeah, it was crazy. It was sad, actually. The neighborhood had been taken over by old people, and they didn't have any kids that were my own age. So that's a great neighborhood, though, but it just wasn't family friendly as far as having kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that when I first met you, you lived in a neighborhood that was full of kids as well. That was a great one. You had a great neighborhood, and that was.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I grew up. It was more isolated up on Holcomb Acres up there in the rural area. But my kids, they all went to the same school, so yeah, kids were everywhere, and my kids had a good time with that. So yeah, I didn't have an imaginary friend, despite the fact that I was alone a lot. But I just never did that. But I did. I once was an imaginary friend for my little sister, so that was good. I claimed I was Grover Calhoun, and I'd show up occasionally, and she liked that.
Oh, and you wonder why she has mental. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, she did.
I'm sorry.
She did have mental illness, but I don't think it was because of that. But it was funny because she would always demand to see both of us at the same time, and I couldn't quite pull that one off.
Yeah, I'm not quite certain. That's a tough one, Brian.
Yeah.
But
funny, we used to go shopping at like Super Value, and I'd say, "Hey, Grover Calhoun's down there," and I'd go get him, and I'd come back, and she goes, "I want to see him and Brian at the same time." So, we had a lot of imagination. What some people call mental illness, I simply call imagination.
That's true. There you go. Well, I did not have invisible friends as a child.
Well,
I had invisible friends as adults.
Well, then when you get my age, you become invisible yourself. That's
right. There you go.
Senior citizens.
Nobody sees you but you. You're like, oh, right. Actually, I
put on the hat for a while.
It was a shine. You never know. thankfully I don't have too much of a shine. But hey, anyways, no, I think that now that we're older, we talk to ourselves a little more often than we probably were expecting to. I was never expecting to talk to myself as much as a kid as I do now. I mean, I don't talk to myself a lot,
Wow.
but I do talk to myself.
Oh,
I
they
find
said
myself.
touch yourself. Is that
Do
like
you know
touch
what
yourself?
I have found actually? I will tell you right now. I talk to myself more in the last year than I ever have, and it's probably I don't know if I'm going batty or if it's because I have a mask on my face and I'm the only one that can hear me. I'm like blah, 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 mumbling. I mumble anyways. So you put that mask on there, that's twice as bad. It's just you just can't hear what I'm saying. It's just then I say the damnedest things because then you say use whatever you want to say. They can't hear you anyways. So you're like, fine, I'll just talk to myself.
Yeah. I think a lot of kids have imaginary friends still. You know, you'll see kids at the store, they're doing something that's pretend and they're talking to somebody. So I think it's
Well,
healthy for most people.
yeah, I don't know. What did your therapist say?
Well, I have an imaginary therapist. That is the one imaginary friend that I have.
That's it right there. And I will tell you, if I have a friend, it's imaginary. That's him right there. It's my little Freudian invisible person. He's sitting right here going, "Hey, you know what? I think that you should yada 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 yada."
Yeah.
Uh, that's
I
always that's not a bad person there to have.
Well, my imaginary therapist, though, he even dumped me too. It's just he said I wasn't making any progress. Said I was getting worse. So
That's okay. I ticked off my invisible girlfriend before, and she's left me many times. So I thought, oh, okay. Like, oh, well.
I do know people that had fake girlfriends, claims of girlfriends that we found out didn't exist. A couple of them growing up. It's embarrassing for people.
They
I
lived in
won't
the
mention any names, but I had a friend claimed he had this girl and she didn't exist.
did she live in the northern province or something like that, or by the
Apparently, she lived in Longview. This was in grade school, but then when the time came to actually meet her, he had excuses, and we figured out he was making it all up. Her name was Linda. This guy came up with a Linda.
well,
So
I had a very good name friend named Linda, and
very good, great
yeah,
person.
I love Linda to death, and actually she passed away recently, so that's one of my issues I've got going on in my life because she's
Yeah.
one of my dearest friends, and that was not I don't know. I'm dealing with that as we speak, so that's a processing thing constantly. It's a
Well,
yeah.
she was a great friend for you, but you were an excellent friend for her, and you were very supportive. And
Well,
I didn't know her well, but I knew you too. You know, I mean, I knew her through you a little bit, and yeah, you were a shining light in her life, man. I'll be honest with you. That's very
thank you,
true.
thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a tough couple days, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't mean to take us there.
no,
Sorry about
no, it's fine. Yeah, no, it's a and yeah, no, it's a I'm dealing right now. People constantly calling or texting or messaging saying, "Hey, when are you gonna do this? What are you gonna do that? When you have a
it.
service, are you gonna do this?" I'm like, "That's not me. That's but it is me kind of because I gotta help somehow, however I can, But and why did she die and sort of things. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's not.
you just want to remember her, and and you've been sharing some pictures, and that's great about the modern age. You can share pictures of you and her hanging out, and great times and happiness and all that, and it's a good thing to be able to share that with people. We didn't have that in the old days. All we could do is talk to each other about it.
Have I told you how I met her? Did I tell you that before? Like,
You what?
did I tell you how I met her?
No, I didn't know how you met her.
Let me tell you about my friend Linda, who's absolutely she'd walk into a room and any man from 20 to 80 would just stare at her because she was absolutely beautiful. And inside and out, she's just a radiant being. Always a great smile, a little kind of a nervous giggle did you speak, but the kindest person in the world because I don't care who you were, if you were stud muffin or if you were ugly little toad or if you were handicapped individual, she would reach out to you, maybe even touch your hand and say, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you, and make you feel good. And she did that for so many people that it was just insane. And she never realized that. But
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. We need to tell people that because, when we're around people that do that, I think we take it for granted, or they do. They may not even know the effect they have on others too.
Oh, 100%. 100% they don't. They don't understand that. And but you never know when they're dealing with their own personal hells either,
Yeah. Well, now, yeah, because she had a lot of physical ailments.
Well, yes, and so when certain things happen, you don't want to elaborate on Facebook on what happened on somebody's passing.
What amazed me about her, though, she had all these physical problems, and I would see her, and you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean?
Oh, never. You'd never know it. Never.
Put on a brave face.
One of those ailments was like an ulceritis or whatever it's called. I don't quite know, but
ulcerative colitis, and that could be really bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And we'd go somewhere and she'd be like, we'd go to eat or something like that. She'd take a couple minutes and just go like, oh, then she'd say, I'm fine,
Yeah.
But I could see it in her face that winces at first before we went and ate something, it was like, oh, I didn't know what she was dealing with there. I had no clue, but it ended up being to where she ended up having multiple surgeries in her stomach and stuff. And yeah, and ended up having a GI thing where they had to insert some stuff, and it was a lot for her. It was really a lot for her. I mean, it was way more than she was due. I mean, she herself was such a light in the world. It was crazy. And
well, I met her. You and I and her went to the comedy competition at the Columbia. So I sat next to her, and you sat next to her on the other side, and we just laughed like hell. It was great. She had a
she was a great laugher. She would giggle, laugh. The funny thing about that is that let me tell you how I met her, which is actually even funnier. So I was at a backyard barbecue at a friend's house, and she comes over there and she comes walking up, and I'm like, I know this girl, and I totally know her. I'm like, I dated her like back in college, So she comes up and she's just walking, kind of like being standoffish because she doesn't really know everybody in the room.
Yeah.
She comes kind of near me, and I'm like, hey. And she's like, hi, And I didn't say anything. I was like, well, she's standing away for a reason. She's like, apparently maybe she's with her boyfriend now. Yeah. And she was with her boyfriend, and maybe she just didn't want to, admit to basically, knowing me of some sort, or bringing up a history or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, and I said hi to her boyfriend, and then that was it, no big deal. And then she comes back like 6 months later to the same place for a barbecue, and she says, she comes walking, and I'm like, now I know the boyfriend's not there, so now I'm free. It's free game. I can give her a bad time or do whatever because and I'm like, hey, she's like, hi. I'm like, and I realized she doesn't quite recognize me quite yet. And I'm like, hey, and I'm like louder and louder, hey, right there. She's like, and she makes me look stupid. She's like, hello. And I'm like, I'm Lonnie. You don't remember me? I'm like, just totally. And she's like, look at me. She's like, I said, I'm Lonnie. Remember me? Like we dated a couple times, and I'm like, come on, there's no way you can forget what kind of I thought I was a pretty good kisser. And she's like, and she looks at me like, who the hell are you? And then she says, oh, you must know my sister. I said, what? She says, you must know my sister, Laura. And I'm like, you're not Laura? Oh shit. I'm like, who the hell are you? She was crying now. She's laughing. She's like, I'm Linda.
Wow.
I'm her twin sister. And I had forgotten that Laura had a twin sister. I knew that she had a sister, I guess, but I didn't know it was identical twin sister.
Yeah.
And it was.
I saw a picture, and I could tell the difference barely.
Well, the picture is the picture we see her now. They have, because of life, in the last few years, last last 10 years or so, I would say they had changed enough
Yeah.
that because of whatever lifestyles and stuff, they had changed. But when I back in college, to me, they looked exactly the same.
Identical.
Yeah,
It was still
identical.
pretty close in the picture I saw that you posted. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
would
the one
have
I
to,
put,
you'd have to,
they were definitely different though, because unfortunately, I'll tell you right now, I it appeared to me that uh as twins, Laura kind of end up splitting, having she ended up having some mental issues, sicknesses, and Linda ended up having physical issues. It was kind of like a
yeah,
weird little
yeah,
and so because of their life and what they had going on, their bodies had changed a little bit. And
yeah.
Linda was always on top of her family has a really ability to work out and stuff. And so like she would work out 2 or 3 times a day. I
Wow.
mean, yeah. So she was always in the gym. She did kickboxing in the morning. She'd go to the YMCA right afterwards and meet me over there, work out at the YMCA or something. And it was just she was just a healthy person. Then after that, she'd go do I don't know, yoga or whatever, So she was a go person, and because she had all these issues, physical issues that nobody knew about, and she's just trying. But yeah, so alas, her illnesses have succumbed her. So
Yeah.
you know, very sad.
Well,
But
the
that's how
last
I
time
met
I
her, and I
saw,
thought,
here's a good example of what you meant to her. Though last time I saw her was at Blue Sky a few months ago, like 6 months ago, maybe four, and
oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, and she had some concerns, and you talked to her, and she was happy immediately, and yeah, you changed the mood of the whole thing, and it became a very happy lunch. And
Oh well,
you could just tell when somebody leans on somebody, and that's she leaned on you, and you did a great job. I don't mean to get too emotional, but
no, that's okay.
it
Thank you.
is
Yeah,
Friday, which I call Cry Day. That's the day I
right.
listen
No
to.
shit day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, that's
Uh,
anyways. She's a wonderful human being, and she'll be sadly missed.
yeah.
So, but as far as it goes, that's how I met her, and
Yeah.
it was kind of a funny little, I mean, I felt like an idiot. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, and I'm sitting there going, "You don't remember me? You gotta remember me." I'm like, "What the hell, man? I thought I meant more than you." Anyways, no.
That could be a good trick for the young guy's date and act like he thinks she's the gal he dated before. That's a
Yeah.
good move. Yeah, that was you helped get her mood up right away, and then I ate 6 giant tacos, and then she thought that was funny as hell because
Well, I think that people don't realize the Blue Sky Bar in Longview, Washington, on Wednesdays and Fridays has some damn good food. Actually, if you were there, if we had tacos, that'd be on Thursday. Normally they have Thai food on Wednesdays and Fridays, and so. But
we
yeah,
were there for
tacos.
taco whatever Taco
Yeah,
Thursday.
it was a Taco Thursday, or yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah, but
But either
she thought
way,
it was
nice
impressive.
little shout out to them, huh?
She thought it was pretty impressive. I could eat 6 of those
They're
tacos.
huge. They're big tacos too. They're not street tacos. They're not like little things. They're like a full meal deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's cool. No, she was a very special person, and she'll be sadly missed. And I mean, I had to tell my family, everybody. It's just
yeah,
like, well, my son, I about put him into a panic attack because sadly, yeah, last night I thought, your son, your kids do not pay attention to your Facebook accounts. I mean, I tell you that much. I don't pay attention. I don't pay
well,
attention to theirs
yeah,
either. But I posted yesterday and pictures and stuff on with Linda's passing. Um, but he didn't see that, and I picked him up and took him to. We had to do some banking stuff earlier in the day, and I was like, "Did you know about Linda?" She's like, "Linda who?" And and then I'm like, Linda. He's like, "What about Linda?" And I'm like, "You don't look at my Facebook post." And I handed it to her, and he was just like,
yeah.
he was, she was such a great person. She was just an amazing person. He was just also instantly sad. Just
Oh yeah,
it's a bad thing. When something like that, such a bright person, is taken out of this world, it's like a beacon of light just went dim. I mean, it's just a wow. It's like, wow, what do you do? you thank you. For me, I'm like, well, thank you for your time with me and the family and stuff, and the world, because she helped me on a lot of fundraisers and stuff, and uh, she walk in the room and say, "Hey, can I have a basket of goodies for your business?" And they'd be like, "Oh, sure." They'd give her, boy, she was the biggest fundraiser. She would get all kinds of good prizes and stuff for these causes. It was pretty funny because they'd walk in and they'd say, "Sure," and then just give her a bill basket, or they would make one for her pretty quick,
Yeah, and if I'd go in there, they'd say, "Get the hell out of here." So
Yeah, right. They'd say,
you had a talent.
yeah, yeah. And Linda would have, I mean, it was just her personality. She would say, "Hey, I'm with hospice. We're having an event. Do you mind?" Or, well, maybe she might even say something different, like, "Oh, I'm with hospice. Do you know hospice at all?" And everybody, of course, just says, "Well, we know hospice," and yada yada yada. And they'll say, "Oh, my grandfather died there. My uncle died there. Whatever. It's a great place." And then you open that up first before you ask them for anything. If they didn't know about them, and then if you know about them, then it's like, "Well, we're doing a fundraiser, so can you feel like you want to help out a little bit?" And they usually say, "Absolutely," and they'll donate their wine or cheese or baskets or whatever they have. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So we did a lot of fun stuff like that together, and yeah. So, but she'll be dearly missed. Have you lost any friends in the recent future, in the recent past? Have you lost any decent friends, good friends? Why no?
Well, yeah, the coach the other day, but that was bittersweet because he was 91, he had a beautiful life, and he was loved by everybody. I did have a friend, Mick. He was a buddy for many years. I actually met him because he dated my ex-wife before I did, so I met him the first time. It was not a comfortable situation.
I would assume
but
so.
then he became one of my best friends, and he'd pop in from it's coming through town. He'd stop by. My kids loved him. He's just a great guy, and he passed away recently. He was about 65, and he played in the final Turkey Day game for R.A. Long, so we had a lot of good stories to tell, and that was tough. Turkey Day game. It was every Thanksgiving, Kelso versus R.A. Long, and it would be cold and miserable, like 10 in the morning.
The football?
Yeah, it was rough, and it was amazing.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I heard about those for years and years and years. Turkey Day games, and then also, you used to have your own little neighborhood turkey.
Oh yeah.
Turkey game.
We used to play 23rd Avenue against 21st Avenue, basically, and it was my family against the Gregg family. And Connor Gregg, he was about 10 years old at the time, and he and I put it together. He was a very intelligent young man, and we'd argue about politics, and then we'd plan events.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Now he's a campaign manager for candidates in Eastern Washington. So
he is?
He is, and I could never beat him in an argument. Don't think I ever will.
Well, I haven't tried at this point,
But we won the trophy. I found a trophy at the Goodwill called the Nelson Cup from 1953, and that became the trophy. And whoever won it kept it for a year, and then we won the last one, so I got it on my mantle. So
what kind of Nelson Cup?
Finally beat him.
I mean, a trophy's a trophy and good enough, but
it's not a participation trophy in any way.
What was a Nelson Cup?
It was a leading scorer in 1953. I looked it up and couldn't find reference to him, but we kept it on there. It said Nelson, and we called it the Nelson Cup. And
because I know a local Nelson who is pretty big in some things, and usually it's golf.
Yeah, but this was 1953, so he was born in about 35, probably.
I think this Nelson that I know was built or born around that time, and he's still playing golf right now. I kid you not. That's probably the truth.
I think you're thinking Leroy Nelson. It's possible it's him, but I don't know. I think Leroy's not quite that old. Is Leroy 86?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe you know what? I should find out. He'd love to see that.
Yeah, I wonder if it is him.
If it is him, well, he was
mostly golf now.
Well, he could play some basketball back in the
day. Leroy is definitely 86 right now, or I'd say about that age. So
I played basketball with him when he seemed like an old man. I was like 16, and there's Leroy. He was a heck of a basketball player. It could be him. I would love to find out.
Well, I saw him just the other day at the country club playing golf,
Oh,
and
nice.
I was like, that's. I had to look out the window. I was like, oh, that's Leroy Nelson, because I know him just from a little bit of business and golfing from other events and stuff, and then also he's had a business here in the local area for
Yeah.
years and years and years. So
He's always been bigger than life. He
yeah,
enjoyed
great guy.
playing. Yeah, he played poker. He loved golf, and like he used to be into basketball. And I know his son Greg. He played on the Mark Morris basketball team that won state. So I've known the Nelsons just through Greg, actually, not really.
Yeah, I played cards with them as well a couple times.
Yeah,
A hidden little card game, which is no longer allowed in this world because of COVID. Apparently, you
yeah,
can't play
but
some cards.
he's playing.
Yeah, well,
Leroy's
actually,
game.
huh?
Leroy's finding a game. I don't.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Actually, it's funny because I was in. Actually, it's kind of funny thing about that is I was in the country club with the guys that he plays poker with, and we talked about a poker game. So
Oh,
you never know. We talked about
I'd
putting
like
them
to
together.
see that. Well, talk to old Grump, Dave Grumboys. He's good friends with Leroy. Leroy is like the godfather of Grump's whatever Grump's organization is. He always talks about Leroy being the godfather.
Really? Well, that's we have a local guy named Grump who is quite a character. That guy is a talented individual, intelligent, and nuts all at the same time.
He's got it all. He actually we're recruiting him to make him a Kelso guy because he's so weird.
No, he's great. Absolutely.
Well, his cousins are all Kelso guys. I knew the Grumboys growing up, and then I meet this Dave guy, and he's this intellectual, music loving, tough guy, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Who is this guy?
Yep. He does it all, man. It's a basketball, soccer, I think, and golf, big time.
Gambling. He loves a poker game, and
yes, he does. And actually, the game that these guys play is called Bernie. And
yeah, I've heard of that. Or I played it once.
It's a dangerous game.
I played it once. It scared me.
Yeah, it's not one I play because I play it. I have played it, but when I was young and dumb and stupid, it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go in this room and they're gonna take away all my personal belongings.
Yeah. I remember sitting down with all these rich guys going, this could be trouble.
Yeah. It could definitely. Well, it's one of those things. Because when they have this personal little party of players, there's often there's a bar that's got more alcohol in it than most bars do. I can tell you that much. Just crazy.
We're talking about, we won't say his name, a lawyer's office.
Yeah, a lawyer's office. Yeah.
Nice office.
It's hidden office, in the hidden, very nice office. The table flips over. The signs, the big paintings, beautiful paintings come down. There's all these poker lights everywhere. It's pretty good. But I mean, there's literally a bar in that room that just it has everything you ever want. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, top shelf stuff. And
shelf stuff, lots of any kind, and one thing we don't have is a bartender there, so you gotta make your own thing. But either way, it's been many years since I've been there, and
I'm glad I went. It was funny because I'm kind of I'm not white trash, but I'm kind of a hillbilly type. And to be in this rich lawyer's office, and I'm thinking, does his wall flip around? I'm thinking it did.
It really did. I mean, there was the paintings would come down, and the lights come on, and the table would flip over. You'd have one or two I'm trying to think here. They are globes basically that open up. Elegant globes open up, and there's alcohol inside the globes and stuff. And it was just cool, But so
there was an old Frank Sinatra movie with a Rat Pack called Robin and the Seven Hoods, and they had it set up as a gambling place. The minute the cops came, everything flipped and changed, and I bet that's where he got that.
Yeah, I bet you did. I'd like to watch that.
He's a little older than. Yeah, I bet he did. You should ask him next time you talk to him because. That was so reminiscent. Yeah.
I want to watch that show, actually.
Robin, and it's got Bing Crosby in it.
Well, if it's got the big old bing, 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 I would love to watch
Yeah.
it. I love old shows. I have not seen a lot of old shows right now that I'm actually
Yeah.
care about. So
Well,
I,
you might. I got to check that too. I'm thinking Frank and the gang are in it. I know Bing Crosby's in it.
well,
I
it's
think it's
called,
Rat Pack, but I watched it. Yeah, they had it was all about gambling and robbing in the Seven Hoods. They're supposedly, criminals, but they were robbed from the rich, give to the poor.
yeah,
Yeah, check that out. Robin and the Seven Hoods.
Robin and the Seven Hoods. Yeah, I'll have to watch it. It sounds great. That sounds like a great name or something, you know.
And ask him where he got some of
That
those
idea.
ideas. Talk to him about that movie. I think that's
Yeah,
where.
well, if I can remember that, I will tell him that.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
plan on seeing him for another couple days. So, not that I need another lawyer in my life, but I'm going to see him again. I can
no,
tell you.
but
Yeah.
you have a weekly luncheon. We won't.
Yeah,
get
yeah. But
yeah. So talk to him.
yeah, I will do that. Yeah, most definitely. These guys that are all top notch today.
Yeah.
I mean, I can rephrase that. There's something.
They're
They're
top shelf.
top shelf. Yes, they're top shelf guys for sure. It's an interesting, interesting luncheon to say
Yeah.
the least.
So the Bernie, did you ever lose 300-400 on a night and piss off your ex-wife or anything like that?
I may have lost $300 a night, but I didn't piss off my ex-wife because it was something she would never known about. I would never have lost something she would know about because, you know what I mean? If I did that, I wouldn't have the ability to come home. I don't think,
Yeah.
I wasn't that type of person. I'm like, I could pull some shenanigans here and there, but not to that level where I wanted to. I mean, I was poor at the time, so. But I learned quick. I learned very quick. I've lost a couple bucks there, but you either win there or you don't go there, and the thing is, there's so much alcohol there that they take advantage of you.
Yeah.
They take advantage of you. The moment you walk in there, you're like, oh, well, you have to pay $2 for every hand to get into, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That 2 goes to 8 or to 12 or to 15, whatever it is. Each hand goes up that high, so it's like you learn to get out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I had already quit drinking, so I went there and I ended up breaking even, but it was fun. So I was glad. I had a good experience.
Yeah, and actually, talk about your friend, that guy Grump. Grump is the one who taught me the game, actually, because went there a couple times. Didn't dare sit down at the table, just said hi, and then Grumpy was like outside. He'd already lost his fortune for the night, and taught me. He's like, "Here, I'll show you how to play this game." And so he showed me, and then I went in there and I played, and I won a few $100. And
wow,
yeah, did that first 2 times I went there. I won a couple $100, a few $100, whatever. But some of these guys play for stakes that are, I don't know, $700 a hand, or whatever. It's just like, ouch! It's like playing AC Deucey or high low for stakes beyond I'm willing to pay. It was crazy. It was nuts. Yeah, but it's entertaining. These guys got to get a rush somehow, and they have the means to do that. So
yeah, blow off a little steam, basically. So,
sure.
Did you have questions today? You've talked about asking.
Actually, I do have questions. I have a different question for you. I have all kinds of questions, but my question for you is more of like, I saw a show here on TV here recently, and it was about UFOs, and I was surprised as all get out when they TV show, which is probably Ancient Aliens or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. I think it was Ancient Aliens. Anyways, the picture ended up in Kelso, Washington. That was nuts. Yeah. I was like, I watched all of a sudden they pull in to Kelso. I'm like, what are they? What? And you made comment before and said that there was something that happened here years ago. And
it was a notorious plane crash, Air Force plane in 1947, all around the time of the Maury Island incident, where a guy saw 7 or 6 UFOs, and there were several sightings, and they found some slag, they call it, actually supposedly from a UFO, and they were flying it to Reno, I think, and then it crashed in Rose Valley.
Yeah, that was weird. So that's what I heard was a story on that one. They said I watched the story. Actually, it said that the UFO hunters, no UFO, maybe that's what it was, UFO hunters. So they had, is that a TV show, UFO hunters? Probably.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was them actually. That they were in Tacoma or
Like
out of what place is that up there?
Maury Island, it's like that. San Juan's or whatever.
San Juan's, yeah.
I don't
So
know what, yeah.
yeah, so they had somebody had seen, I think it was 6 or 7 UFOs. It was like I said, what was the date on that? 47?
1947, and yeah, some stuff dropped like waste from one of the
waste
UFOs, and it killed the guy's dog and broke his son's arm.
Yeah, they're in a boat,
Yeah.
right there in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
fishing boat, just a small fishing boat.
They said there's a hot metal,
Yeah.
whatever it was, just came out of this machine, which was probably a UFO, according to them, and it landed on them. It broke the son's shoulder or
Yeah.
arm, and then killed the dog. And so,
Yeah,
and then
like a day or two later, before that, some guy, Ken Arnold, I think he was flying in by Mount Rainier, and he saw the same ones, and he coined the phrase "flying saucers."
yes, he did. Kenneth
Yeah.
Arnold, yep, at Mount Rainier. That's right.
Yeah,
And that was what, 1947, you said? That was like, and I think it was a week
summer
or
of
two.
'47.
I think it was a week or two prior to that event. Kenneth Arnold saw it, and then these UFOs. Now, think
Well,
about that is
Roswell was right around that time. It was a wild time for the UFO world.
it was, and they took those. What happened was, so the UFO dumped that, they deposited the crap on the ground or in the water or whatever it was, broke the guy's arm, killed the dog, and then they took off. Now, when they took off, they assumed it was because they had to lighten the load somehow. When
Yeah.
something was going on wrong with their UFO, which is strange, but obviously it's strange. We've got all kinds of strangeness there. But then the U.S. government heard about it, and then they came there to find whatever the problem was, whatever they dropped.
Yeah, they found it.
They found all this scrap, whatever crap that it was, or molten or whatever it was,
Slag.
and they put it on their ships and stuff, on these planes. Then they were taking that to possibly Area 51. I don't know.
Actually, I think you're right there, somewhere like that. I don't know if it's
They were going down to Nevada.
that way.
They're transporting this. This is a true story here, folks.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Air
whether or
Force.
not it's UFO stuff or whatnot, but this is what happened. True story.
Well, they were taking something.
Yeah, they were taking something. So the U.S. government went to pick up the stuff. They took all the stuff and they flew towards Nevada, down and to the left, I guess, to Nevada, and that something in that plane caused it to heat up, apparently,
Yeah.
or whatever, and that slag. Not sure if it came alive. It didn't come alive,
Well,
but
they're not sure what happened.
They're not
Something
sure what
caused a
happened.
fire, and they crashed. And I think the pilot, I think one person was killed. It was
yeah,
bad.
they crashed a plane in Kelso, Washington, which is
Rose
pretty
Valley.
crazy. Rose
Rose
Valley,
Valley.
yeah, and then years later, I mean, when that happened, apparently everybody saw it at the time.
Oh yeah, the government just swooped on it.
Yeah, they
They
wrecked
shut
it.
down the site, and they told people to get away. It was crazy.
Yeah, so U.S. government plane crashed in Kelso,
Valley,
Rose Valley, and some of the people who lived out there may have even picked up articles from that plane.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think in particular there was somebody picked up a parachute or something from.
Yeah, this lady, she's in a nursing home now, and she told me that she was a little kid, and she ran over and grabbed the parachute and took it home, and her mom made like 4 dresses for all the kids. She had like eight girls or something. It was like she made dress after dress.
Well,
But
a parachute at the time, those are pretty
yeah.
big. You can make whatever you want. It's all material, so that's pretty
yeah,
funny.
right after that, when the authorities got there, they shut it down and nobody could be in there. They're like, get out of here. They just what do you call it, perimeter and all that.
Yeah, it was, the thought is just,
Crazy.
yeah, it's very crazy. And I know we're not a show about UFOs, but I think that that's some local knowledge. It's pretty
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't know about. No, nobody knows about that. Actually.
Not a lot of people know about it. It's been in the paper a few times, and I probably have some of the facts wrong, but the bottom line is Kelso is the UFO capital of the world. I think we have to accept that.
Well, it's funny because you had made a comment about this before about this UFO thing, and then when I watched this on TV, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's actually here. We're actually we're doing something here, so that's pretty cool.
We are the epicenter. I talk a lot and talk out of my side of my mouth occasionally, so you're probably used to me saying stuff, and then when something checks out, you're like, wow.
That's kind of, it's like, wow.
Now you got to rethink all my other stories.
Right. Yeah, I gotta believe you a little bit there. That's
that gave
validation. Validation on that. That was pretty cool.
Gave me some credibility finally.
Well, it's funny because we have here in Cowlitz County, we often have, by the way, folks, we're just divided by a river, where the Great Bryan is over on the east of Washington, and I'm on the west side of Washington, divided by a river, which is just the Cowlitz County, and that's the county that we're at, of course, is Cowlitz County and Cowlitz River. But Cowlitz County, we do have some pretty amazing things here. We have some great events. Normally, we have a Sasquatch event.
He's living in Adna right now, Sasquatch. So
is he? Yeah. Adna? Yeah. So where's Adna in Washington?
It's 20 miles from Kelso.
Toledo, something like that.
Yeah, he wanted to live in Kelso, but they already had the UFO thing, so he wants his own place.
Well, the thing is, we have a squirrel fest here, and we have a squirrel fest in Longview, which is, insane. It's a big,
that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a pattern of mental illness in both towns.
Yes, exactly. We celebrate both the squirrels and the Sasquatch because you can't catch either one of them. They're both too fast. It's like, damn it. You just get behind a squirrel, it's gone. Get behind a Sasquatch, it's gone. I tell you what. So I'm going to go off that theory and say we need to start a UFO event here. I think it'd be great. We do have to. I think we're weirder than Portland. They say keep Portland weird. We got squirrels, Sasquatch, UFOs. Yep. Pretty big. Our mountain blew up. Yeah. Mount St. Helens is our national, our adopted pet. That was a huge event here locally. So man, change. But I think change the rivers around here. I think we should take advantage of that Kelso crash. Yeah, and I've heard other people tell me they've seen UFOs in this area, and I think it'd be a great place to have in the expo center over there somewhere. Have a nice little UFO symposium. Some type of a nice thing for that. It'd be kind of fun to do. We got to make it fun though, and then like you said, you talked about this earlier. We can take people up to the crash site because that would be cool. A day trip for people. I had brought up before possibly doing a UFO thing here. Some people said, "Well, aren't the Sasquatch UFO for aliens?" And I'm like, maybe. Maybe actually. You never know. Maybe they eat slag. Maybe they eat slag. That's right. Yeah, I don't quite know, but it could be possible. I mean, anything's possible, right, folks? Yeah. It's like you just, if I can't prove it, you can't prove it. Then doesn't make it not possible, but. Yeah, but if you started promoting that, or we did, and telling people, because everybody I tell that story to, they're fascinated. There are books about it now. That show. Oh yeah. Then people would see this as UFO capital and the weird place that's got DB Cooper and has. Yeah, DB Cooper too. I forgot about that one. Crazy. They have events for DB Cooper in the area, and he is I think he's long gone by now. I'm not sure. I think he was picked up by flying saucers on the way down. They said, "What's this guy doing? Let's take him." I think he may have been. If he jumped out of a plane. If you don't know the DB Cooper, okay, I can't speak. Thinking of the DB Creature. We'll call him DB Creature. Yeah. Anyways, Brian, who is DB Creature? DB Cooper, of course, is Dan Cooper, but we don't know his real name. But he bought a ticket for $20 from Portland to Seattle, and then hijacked a
plane from Seattle to Reno and supposedly jumped somewhere over the Cowlitz River or around here. And in his suitcase, you know what he had? He had squirrels. That's the weird thing. So
That's how he got away.
yeah,
They
no,
took
but
all his money and ran.
he was never found.
Oh,
Only $5,800 of the money was found in the Columbia River in a really weird situation.
was it like, now, what year was that?
1980? They found it in the Columbia River.
Well, no, what year
Oh,
was
it's
that?
71, November 24th, 1971. It was a Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving.
And how much money did he take?
200,000, which at the time was a pretty good amount in $20 bills.
Wow. So $200,000 jumped out of a plane, and he figured nowadays it'd be about $1 million probably.
Yeah.
I bet you. Yeah, actually, I have a calculator here, but yeah, $200,000 now worth about $1 million, and he was the only person who's ever successfully hijacked a plane in the United States and got away with it.
Yeah, and then they changed a lot of the laws on how they dealt with security in the planes and airports. And he was brilliant in some ways. He knew everything about that plane.
Sure.
And he knew that the stairs came down in the back and that he could control it from the inside. They quit doing that after that. So, and it was just him and like 4 people that were on the flight after he got all the passengers off and got his money. And they wanted to bring the money to him, and he wouldn't let the authorities bring it. They had to bring it to the bottom of the stairs, I believe, and then the stewardess brought it up. So only 4 or 5 people actually saw him.
Yeah, well, oh, so
he may not exist, folks. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know. I think so. Right now, in today's money, and I'm getting this information off of in 2013 dollars, they say. So this website here, it's actually in $200,000 in 1970 is now worth $1,365,000.35. But yeah, today.
He wouldn't do it today. DB Cooper is a smart man. What he would do is he would invest in Dogecoin, and he wouldn't need to hijack anything.
Yeah, Dogecoin is he just put a gun to it and say, put it on my account and then hop out, I guess, right? I don't know, but
well, back in those days, you throw them a $20 bill, they say, okay, get on the plane. There was no official stuff. And then he had 3 or 4 bourbon and waters, I believe. And he was a little tipsy, and the gal said he was a good conversationalist, and he left his clip-on tie in the plane.
Really?
Yes. And the note was never found. He took it with him.
What did the note say?
I've got a bomb, basically. And she didn't even want to look at the note. She thought he was giving her his phone number. He goes, you better look.
Really?
Yeah, that's real. I don't know much about it, but I did. No, I was obsessed with it for several years. So I knew all the gals' names, what happened to them. One gal won't talk to anybody. There's one of the stewardesses, she will not talk to anybody. One of them went into hiding and had mental issues.
Well, I think it could be like recently there was somebody in the Home Depot place in particular. They also evacuated the place and people jumped because the guy had said there's a bomb in the bathroom, but he didn't say there's a bomb in the bathroom. He said I blew up the bathroom. It's a bomb in there or whatever. And because he said he blew up the bathroom, everybody evacuated the whole building. It's pretty hilarious. Man. That was a true story. That was like 2 weeks ago that happened. But maybe that's what happened here. He just said, the guy comes out of the bathroom and says, do not go in there. Woo! It's a bomb, And so she's like, oh, what do you say? Here, take this $200,000 and jump out the plane. You never know it.
Well, he was having his drink, 2 or 3, maybe 4, and she came up and gave her the note. She didn't want to read it, and he said, you should read that. It said, I have a bomb in the briefcase. He opened it up, and what looked like bomb stuff was in the briefcase, closed it. She went and told the pilot, and then game on.
Wow, but nobody else was injured, right?
No, nobody was injured that they know of. They got there were 36 passengers. They got off. The money was brought to him. He wanted $20 bills, and
Well, how would they know? Why did they have that much money on the plane, by the way?
no, they didn't. They had to stop in Seattle. He said, "Hey, I'm hijacking the plane." So they got the money together and brought it to him. And the agent tried to bring it up in the plane, and he said, "No, I can't see the agent. He can't see me." So the stewardess got it. He got his money, and they took off and flew. And then over Castle Rock, they heard some rumblings of, I guess, the stairs going down, and then there was one of these things like the weight had changed, so they think he jumped somewhere between here and Vancouver, possibly. And then they got to Reno and did about a 3-minute search, just looking around. He's not in here. And then they did, all focus was on the Pacific Northwest. They came to here to find him.
I thought they had found the money in Kalama right here. Maybe.
Well, they found it in Vancouver in 1980.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Tina Bar. I don't know what, a place called Tina Bar that's in the Columbia, but there's been dredging since and all that. There's a lot of theories of why it was where it was and was it planted. And
Yeah, I don't know why in particular, but Toledo and Kalama, I remember both saying it was he jumped. That's where he jumped. So
yeah, it could be anywhere between like maybe Castle Rock, but more towards Camas actually. At Castle Rock, they think that's where the stairs came down, and a placard that said something about these stairs retract or whatever that flew off, and a hunter in Castle Rock
oh, really?
found that. Yeah, that was about the only evidence they found other than some of the money. That was the first evidence ever found, I believe. The hunter. I saw a video and he said, "Yeah, I saw this thing. Turns out it's from that DB Cooper plane." So yeah, so we got that. We got
Is
DB.
that how the hunter stuck?
Yeah, the hunter. He was a good man. He was wearing Carhartts, and he said, "Yeah, I was just ambling over, and there's this placard, and I don't even know what placard means." I didn't know what placard meant until DB Cooper pulled his.
Oh, I've gone out and got placard many times.
Yeah. So so we're in the epicenter of weirdness in this area. So we've got to play off that. We're the UFO capital of the world, the strange events.
Yeah, we are. And I know because I've dated girls around here, and it's very strange events on each one of them. It's like, well, something's going on here. We had Trojan, which is no longer here. Thank goodness, I guess,
Yeah.
right? But we had Trojan may have caused the big-eyed walleye fish we have here in town. I'm not quite certain.
Maybe our slogan should be "Come dump your slag in Kelso" or something like that. We've got to have the word slag in there.
Well, the slag was up in.
Yeah, but
sound way closer.
It ended up in Kelso. They landed and blew up. So there's probably still slag out there. We got to go look for it.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's what the plane wreck there. I think in particular.
Yeah,
I think we've had some pretty good things in this area here. I mean, happen and might shit. I can't speak today. Might as well celebrate them.
Yeah, let's celebrate unusual things because we got to have fun. Get out.
Well, we do. We celebrate the Squatch Fest, which has been pretty cool. A friend of mine actually was the creator of that little doodad there, and I was very not surprised that it took off so well. But you know what? We need something to do, so it did well.
Yeah, I think we could combine some of this stuff because you got DB Cooper, you got Harry Truman from the mountain, you got the UFOs. We got it all. We got squirrels. That's enough weirdness right there to put a heck of an event together.
Yeah, the problem is that there's not enough time in the year because this is all done in summer usually. Actually, Squatch Fest is going to go summer this year, but normally it goes in February or January actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many things going on here locally. People say there's nothing to do here. And if that is what you think in particular, look on your schedule of local events. I kid you not. I mean, we have so much going on.
So much.
I mean, I realize there's not a place to go ice skate. There's not a place to go hit baseballs all the time.
Well, you brought up a good point. We need somewhere to outdoor ice skate, at least in the winter. Come on, we got to do that. Talk
Well,
to your
we
council folks and all your downtowners and get us an ice skating rink.
or even a roller skating rink. We got rid of skate roll, but that was
Oh,
not successful.
indoor roller skating, and find a spot for outdoor ice skating in the winter, like in the Civic Circle. That'd be beautiful. That'd be Hans
No
Christian.
roller skates, no place to do a putt putt. You know, the little miniature golf. You know,
Yeah, no
there's
disco. Not one disco.
There's no discotheque in Cowlitz County anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's terrible.
There's one historical one, which is
But we won't get into that today. That's a show of its own.
that is a show of its own. We'll talk about that one some other time. Matter of fact, I think I'd like to hear some local stories about our number one discotheque, which was BARTS.
Oh, no. It's Hollywood from the 1977 to 1980. That's the disco of all discos. It was rated the top disco in the Northwest.
I don't know. Well, maybe discotheque, but I don't.
True discotheque.
Discotheque, yeah.
Lighted floor, disco balls everywhere.
Really?
Yes.
And where was Hollywood again?
It was on South Pacific Avenue in Kelso. It became Trophies.
Oh, you know what?
Now
I spent a lot of time there at Trophies, unfortunately. So
yes, it has quite a history. It was incredible.
well,
place.
I'm such a I'm a winner, so I have to go to Trophies.
Yeah.
That's where I went to meet my wife. Actually, was at Trophies. There we go. Actually, that is where I met my wife. She was a trophy wife. I can literally say that. She was a trophy wife. That's hilarious.
They're reopening that Trophies. They're bringing it back. Some millennials bought it, and it's going to be called Participation Trophies, of course. But I was going to say it's the 50th anniversary, November 24th, 50th anniversary of DB Cooper hijacking a plane this year. This is the biggest year, so we got to get this thing going.
Event going on. You know, I think I got eyebrows like Laverne and Shirley. Well, Laverne's dad. That's Frank DeFazio. That's how I feel right now.
Oh, wow.
Hello, how are you? Yeah, it's not good, but no, that's cool. 50. What day was that?
November 24th. Briefly, for about 6 months, I thought it was my brother Bruce that he was Cooper. Pretty much thought for sure because everything fit because he was he could pull that off.
He's a wild guy.
It wasn't him. It was I found out he had an alibi. I talked to some people that were with him on that date. So
oh, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like investigating him. I told him I thought he was Cooper, but he said no.
Hey, so it's just about an hour, by the way.
Yes.
So we need to pound this out, ladies and gentlemen. Come back tomorrow for some regular bullshit, and the backgrounds will change and our lives will change because everybody's does.
Did you say Raging Bullshit? That could be our new name.
That's right, Raging Bullshit.
That could be your moniker.
Well, it could be Lineal Bullshit.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm
you know,
full
LB. Lineal Bullshit, you know.
I'm full of crap. I'll have my name be Full of Crap and you be Raging Bullshit. Sorry about the language, folks. We're good people.
We don't curse most of the time, folks, but you know, sometimes you have to do it. You've got to do it. And by the way, if anybody's asking, these pictures here are my lovely little children taken by a lovely friend, and it's amazing pictures, actually. They're great photos. But and then I made some weird, I took it myself and made it like a little more artistic from colorful walls I had. But anyways, yeah. My background changes frequently, so feel free to add on to that if you want, you know.
Yeah, and I think Linda would be happy that we're doing this show, and she's probably watching it. So
yeah,
if you suck today, you know, she'll forgive you.
Boy, I tell you, yeah, I was doing great. I was doing great. They brought that up right there. I'm like, oh,
I didn't mean to choke you up, but
no,
the show was dedicated to Linda, and she.
There we go.
She was a shining light, and maybe we can be that way too. So.
Yep, and you know what? Tonight, by the way, as far as shining light, we've got an event tonight.
Yeah,
we have Friday Night Live tonight, folks, which is basically we're putting out live music from streaming out for anybody at home during this pandemic from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Usually maybe a little bit longer. You never
Might
know.
Go a little long tonight. We have an actual band, so Silver.
Yeah. Well, we also have an actual band. This is a full-size band.
Yeah, this is a full-size band.
So it might last a little longer, but It should be fun. And
Yeah.
and if you want to watch it, it'll be on Facebook from 7 to 8. And then also we will do we'll replay it throughout the week. And,
Yeah.
so
And then
it'll
I
be good.
just put Joe Robbins' performance a while back. And yesterday I put a clip of David and Joe from last show, and people love it. And his mom was sharing it. It's really neat. People love this. So the Friday
we had
Night
like
Live tonight.
we had over 4,000 views on that. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty good. Okay, folks, you all have a wonderful evening. And if you want to pound it out with us,
Yeah.
Rochambeau, grab your
Let's
fist,
do it.
hit the
Boom,
floor. 1, 2,
boom,
3.
Boom.
There you go. Ready?
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Haha, I gotcha. There you go. Now it's 1 to 1, folks. Remember that. It's 1 to 1, folks. We're even. Love. Ha, ha.
We'll see you next time on the LB Hour Morning Zoom. Hit the microphone. The LB Hour Morning Zoom. Good night.
Well, we'll see you later. And this is in. Bye.